Today's a big day, dude.
Today's a big day.
This is going to be a big one. I don't know. I was inspired. There we go.
Okay, so while you tell the people what's happening, I'm going to put the end of the show thing ready to go.
Right on. All right, what's up, YouTube?
What's happening, guys?
All right, big day today, big day. I don't know how many of you guys follow freshwater or the freshwater channels. I dip in and out, even though I've never had a freshwater tank.
I used to. Okay, we're obviously in the description. We're talking about King of DIY, Joey. I used to watch him, and even like while I would watch this channel before I came here, because he had some really cool tips on your sumps and building tanks and where you can source some of this stuff at, and the DIY projects were awesome.
Yeah, he's a very entertaining dude. He's been around forever. I'm watching him forever. Kind of grew up, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like
the YouTube channels were started
I feel like a soulmate almost.
Yeah, BRS channel and his channel were started months apart, weren't they?
Yeah, just a couple months. Yes.
Okay.
This week, though, he did, or that goes like last week, he did a very inspirational video to me. I watched this thing.
Yep.
I'm going to share a bunch of thoughts from it because I felt like he was speaking directly to me. I don't know. I'm pretty excited to share what came out of this. He was pretty vulnerable. I'm going to try to follow suit as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can as well. I think there's just a lot of shared stuff, especially from the YouTube community that probably share. A lot of people don't talk about it, but let's talk about it today.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
It's going to land somewhere really cool. I just had this idea. I pitched it at a few people here. Nobody told me it was stupid, so I don't know. I'm going to put it in the universe today because I like it so much that if we put it in the universe, hopefully you guys just push it over the edge and make us do it. Because it's going to be really cool.
I mean, these types of calls for the community to help make decisions in our hobby has worked before, like the Hannah nitrate checker. We begged, the community begged, we got one.
Oh, there you go. All right,
maybe we can make it happen here.
I took some notes from this video. I just watched it again and took some notes from his video. But, just for reference point, Joey shared he's tearing down his gallery in his facility or his house.
Yeah, it was his garage. I forget what the square footage was, but it's not big enough for what he wants to do.
And he's going to build something much bigger.
Oh, yeah.
Much bigger, much grander, much cooler.
Open to the public.
I'm just going to start sharing some of the things that he saw. Maybe you and I can kind of share where we think it brought us to. But,
yeah.
So he said for the first 5 years, just making videos, sharing videos, and sharing what he was up to. I'm like, yeah, that was pretty much 5 years too for me. Is like, hey, dude, I don't know. I just wanted to share some of the gifts that people had shared with me. It was like the very first video was like, sharing how to do chemistry, calcium and alkalinity. And all I wanted to do is I struggled with that so much because I got all this crap advice.
Excuse me.
And then somebody came to my house and said, do it this way, did it that way, tank just flourished.
It worked.
Like, oh man, if only somebody would listen. If everybody listened to David Greger, man, we would be so much better off in this world.
Yeah.
That was it.
So somebody has to share the knowledge.
Yeah, I wanted to share that gift. But he came to my house and helped me. And I'm like, man, on YouTube, I could actually help tens of thousands of people in the same way David Greger did.
Right.
Let's go do it.
Yeah.
And that's largely what the first 5 years was. So kind of cool. He said that if he could reach as many hobbyists as he did with 3 fish tanks in his house for that first 5 years, imagine what he could do with a building dedicated to 10 to 20 tanks. And that was 4 years ago.
He not only did he say the part that I took away from that, because I have it written down here, he said, if I could touch the world with 3 tanks in my basement, imagine what building 20 or 30 or 40 tanks could do.
It's interesting that you and I picked up on the same thing.
That really speaks to me.
So, for me, what I got out of that is, of course, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know how I missed it. Like, wow, man. Like, if it had 3 tanks in there, dude tore down his garage.
Yeah.
And built 20 tanks, man, to go share with the world.
Yeah, the gallery.
I wrote down here, damn, how could I miss this? We should have been building 20 tanks here.
From the get-go already.
I mean, we did. We shared a lot of tanks, man. We built a lot of tanks here. You see the ULMs, you see the 160s, you see all these other things. But like, man, not 20 in a gallery. Like, But like in hindsight, of course we should have done this.
And not in the like another thing I got from his video too is it wasn't just, you know, here's 3 tanks, here's how awesome they were. It was his passion. Those were the tanks that he liked. Those were the tanks that brought him joy, that like fueled him as a freshwater hobbyist, that he just wanted to share. And there's all sorts of other types of tanks out there that you know, de-stagnate your hobby journey. Mixed tank, sure. LPS tank, all right. It's an SPS dominated system, yeah, sure. There's like 15 other types of tanks that you could do.
If not 100.
If not more, yeah, for sure.
I got the same thing out of it too, man. It's just like, wow, what a cool thing to do. And I don't know, man. I've been watching it for, I don't know why it never dawned on me that we could do this too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Totally could.
All right, so then he says, over the last couple of years, he simply lost interest in his fish tanks.
Yep, got that same thing too.
Okay, and it sucks because it's all he is, all he knows, and he's been doing it for 13 years.
Yeah, he said, he mentioned, he says, I also shot myself, he's like, I shot myself in the foot. Kind of like, this is my path. I didn't really do anything. He identifies as a YouTuber. He was so, he said, I have the same thing. He lost interest in his tanks, but it was a personal passion that eventually just turned into like, just pleasing others because life got in the way and different other things like, well, what do they want to see? What do they want to see next? What do they, and he just kind of lost that personal passion in the hobby himself. DIY Joey, by the way, I see in the comments who are we talking about. Yeah,
oh, yeah, DIY Joey.
Yeah, the king of DIY Joey. Yeah.
Where are you, yo, Joey, to begin with? All right, so, man, I want to read it again. Over the last couple of years, he's simply lost interest in his fish tanks, and it sucks because it's all he is, all he knows, and he's been doing it for 13 years. Like, bravo, dude, that's pretty vulnerable, and, like, I mean, he's really putting himself out there because he's got a fish tank channel. He's saying, I lost passion for my fish tanks. That's generally not a good look.
Well, yeah. Right? How many people in the world take their passion, their love, their everything that they ever wanted their thing they're most passionate about, and turn it into something they just do all the time? Taking that leap of faith, like, I'm not gonna go get a job. I'm not gonna go try to find, go get a degree or work for a lawyer company or do whatever. Yep. I'm just gonna follow this.
All right, so the comment in relation to that is, hey, 13 years too here, actually. So Joey and I started he beat me like a couple months in 2008. Yeah. Starting our channels. He says he's been doing this 20 years. Like, I think I've been doing reefing for like 18 years, something like that. I don't know, 17, whatever it is. So similar paths here. And I'm gonna say it too, man, out loud. There's some aspects of this that my heart just isn't into either. And I'm going to expose myself here. It's, you can see it with how long it's taking me to get the 360 going in my house.
Yeah.
Okay, if you caught me 10 years ago, that tank, man, would have been, oh my God, especially with the resources we're dumping into it, dude, it would have been a dream come true.
Yeah.
But you know what, man? It's just not my number one priority when I'm at home right now because, man, I work hard here. I had nothing that will ever prepare you for having a 5-month-old, a 2-year-old, and a 4-year-old all at once. Nothing in life will ever. So for those who don't know, the only times, probably nobody knows this, the only time that I really get to spend time with the tank and work on it is 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. I wake up 2 hours before everyone else, go down there and start working on the tank because there's no other time, man, for me to do this.
Yeah.
Right? And the rest of it's come home, dinner,
kids to bed,
kids to bed, books, blah, blah, blah. I'm exhausted. Yeah, so I don't know, man. There's parts of it that, I just totally understand what he's saying. Now, part of it is I've learned, and you'll hear about this later, I've learned where my passion really lies, and I should actually embrace it and hold it in its entirety and just shoot to be the best at this thing that it can possibly be, and I'll share it with you in a minute. But he also picked up that thing that he also said here, which was he shot himself in the foot because he started that gallery with the intention to cycle the tanks And he was going to put 10 of them up, and then
start with 1.
Yep.
Work his way to 10, like every few months or so, and then at the end, come back,
turn the first one off, and start something brand new.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so every tank had a life cycle of a year or something. You know, and he shot himself in the foot because he wanted calorie fun and cook because he got to experiment with them. His hobby and his passion was slowly being ripped from him as he tried to please everyone else.
Yeah.
And he's like, literally, you can see a tear welling in his eyes as he says he misses his 4 to 5 year pets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
and he makes a point that these were around. You know, you buy your fish, he's like, I'd buy my fish, I'd take care of them. 4 or 5 years later, they're my pets, like a cat, dog, or anything else. And then I'm really attached to these things. He said he got into the habit of, like, there was a video he had to take down about a certain species of fish because he had showed people how to, like, that people-pleasing part of his hobby. He showed people, you know, I think they want to see how to take care of this fish. I'll show them how to take care of this fish. And then there's a slew of people going out and getting this fish that should maybe not have that fish.
yeah, so he took it down.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was a red catfish.
Yeah, a red tail or something.
Yeah, and so, like, I don't know, man. So he's taking this down, and I got, like, oh my God, dude, we do this here.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, I'm just like,
We set up.
why,
The
man?
160 hasn't come down, but we went through the ULMs. They're up,
Okay.
learned, and down.
We got the clown harem, which is actually a personal passion of mine. It was something that I really enjoyed learning about and doing. That thing shut down, so we could make room. Yeah, after 4.5 years, man, they finally grew up into, you know, the harem you're looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, it was probably a couple years before that, but, like, it was really cool.
Yeah.
And then we took it down to make room for another tank. And I'll tell you, in that one, we took it down also because the Vertex tank was bowing really bad. In the front, and I was always afraid it was going to explode on somebody. But, you know, we could have moved it into another glass box.
And that could have easily been something to look at for like 10 years, if not more.
I'd still love to have that in my house.
Just to look at. Yeah.
I love how the hierarchy and explaining it, talking about people, and I just love it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, we shut down the tank that was in my office, which is from that first how to build a saltwater tank in my basement, and then we moved it up to my bedroom, then we moved it to my office,
The
and
Reef
the Reef Savvy tank.
75, yeah.
Yeah, like that. We shut that one down, you know. We shut down the ULMs once there was nothing left to learn from them.
Right,
You know.
right.
Those
turned in. Oh no, those were still ULMs. The middle one turned into the WWC hybrid.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so if you guys follow Facebook and stuff, we started talking about whether or not we should take down the E170 because it's played its course.
Yeah.
You know,
we did have that live stream conversation.
Yeah.
And now we almost settled on we should just. This thing is now just maintenance mode and trimming. Should we tear it down?
There's nothing left to learn, man. I learned it all. We've shared the information. Let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Right?
But then thinking about it, like, that would be somebody's dream for 10, 15 years, as long as they could. Like, who else as a hobbyist would shut a success like that just down?
Nobody.
Because it ran its course.
Nobody.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. So we've talked about taking the BRS 160 down.
We have talked about that.
You know, it's like, well, hey, we got this new set now. What are we going to sit in front of that one? Or are we going to do down? What are you going to do it? I mean, there's probably 4 people like, wow.
Shut down the BRS.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, but you know, like we kind of done what we're going to do with that tank. It's not just kind of a tank in the office.
I've been an advocate for.
Nobody really wants to do that.
Yeah, I've been an advocate for. We need to demonstrate how that one can be a 10-year tank. We're halfway there.
I agree. We're probably a little halfway over there. But this is all matching, man, Joey's experience and the pressure, man, to like keep setting up more tanks in a limited space with the limited budget and limited people taking care of them. Like I can't have 8 million tanks up all at once, you know, and there's only so much room here before I'm gonna get fired. You know, like yeah, I don't know, man. But so I really recommend. He said it. I don't feel this strongly about it, but his hobby and his passion slowly being ripped from him as he tried to please everyone else. Man, that's some like potent words.
That's big.
I don't know.
Deep.
All right, so this is a good example too, man. Are you guys ready for blasphemy? Are you ready?
I'm ready because I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, I'm gonna say it out loud. The 360 in my house would have been a fish-only tank if I was just doing it in my house and nobody else was watching, right? And it's just being about being realistic about the current stage in my life, man. Like I love my aquariums, man. I love the hobby. I love doing this. I'll be 90 years old on my rocking chair with one of these tanks next to me of some type. Yep. But like, there's different stages in life where you can pour different amounts of effort into it. And I never had a fish-only tank.
I know,
I just skipped right into reef.
I did too.
You know, and then I got Elliot from Marine Collectors always telling me about all these cool fish and that I can't have. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I want to go to the dark side, but why is it even called the dark side, right? Like, what?
It's another leaflet of the hobby. Like, maybe somebody in their life only wants a fish only. Like, corals are cool.
Yeah, I want to do something new.
Yeah,
you know, and like, you know, to be honest too, I go on pretty long vacations sometimes, you know, and like, I just don't want to worry about it the same way as I'd worry about a reef tank. And it's just in this period of life, man, I would have done it, but I felt so much pressure as the BRS TV guy building this big tank in my house. It better be the best reef tank, all known to man, or else. You
know, that's kind of on us too, if you think about it. Like, over the past, 10 years or how many years doing the videos, YouTube channel's been up, we've also been kind of forcing our audience into SPS, LPS, mixed tank, and a softy tank. LPS, and that's every tank that we've set up is a method or a way or best practices or gear or what have you to make those types of tanks. We've completely missed all of the other types of tanks out in the hobby.
If you could take those other ones and get like a big stamp, mission accomplished.
Yeah.
You know, like
sometimes
LPS
4
tank
times
done. You know, like,
yeah. So
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like even in my house now, I'm trying to find ways to evolve it with the like the hobby for me. And so mixed tank for me used to be just kind of like put all the stuff wherever you felt like. You know. Yeah. Now I'm learning, like, you know what, these Euphilia gardens or the ACAN gardens is like, when you put them all next to each other like that, you get to see the subtle differences in a way that if they were spread out throughout the tank, you wouldn't see.
You miss, yeah.
Yeah.
And you control, and you attempted to try to achieve something like that in your 360. The idea was where you would have like a side that was SPS dominant, a section that was Euphilia garden, and a section that was something else. At the end of the day, it's a mixed tank.
So in reality, I'm still excited about that.
Yeah.
Like I'm still excited about making an SPS window, an LPS window, and I got these little gardens of ACANs, I got little gardens of Euphilia that I'm going to build upon, and it is an evolution, and I can see now like where, you know, it's not just about putting some corals in there. I'm now collecting these pieces, and I'm looking. I just kind of put a bunch of them in there to begin with to like get a baseline. But now it'd be about collecting them, to put them in there and get, every, like shade of Euphilia you can think of, right?
That's awesome.
Like even already the ACANs I really love, the different colors that they come in. So yeah, I don't know. But this is what, like, as he tried to please everybody else, I just really had to think about what my passion is. And I've shared this privately before, but my passion may look like reefing, and it is. It's a portion of that,
right?
In aquariums. But my real passion, like if I had to really scribe it down to something that excites my soul, it is learning something new and sharing it with others. That is, and it's that reefing gives me that mechanism to be able to go dive into this crazy world and keep pulling up new things that we learn together.
Yeah, true,
right?
True.
And then you get to share them with the world, and that is the thing, man, that like gets my heart like excited. That is the thing. I just think back to, hearing the first time that somebody told me you can't have more than 2 clowns in a tank or they'll kill each other. Yet, man, I just saw this thing about clownfish. They live in a harem where there's a female, a dominant male, and a bunch of subdominant males, and all the rest, right?
Yeah.
They're like, that's not true, man. And then I went out and I researched. I read that like 60 pages of dude's thread. I went and watched every video I could find, sucked in all the information, and instead of saying, like, you can't do it, let's show you how to do it.
Let's learn how to do it.
And then we have 4.5 years of success, man. I learned something, applied it, shared it with the universe. That is the thing that excites my soul. So you can see where this might be going, right? As like I'm starting to understand myself better. I'm starting to understand my hobby better. Thank you, Joey. And I'm thinking about how do we apply that to new areas here. Let's go learn something new together, man. Let's share it. Let's conquer the universe, right? Or at least the reef. All right. So next thing he says. He should have had permanent installations.
We went 1 for 1 here.
Did we really? I like took the exact same notes. That's so funny. I'll let you go then. Go ahead.
I mean, he says, he's like, so what should have I done? Instead of following the crowd and pleasing the crowd, he said, I should have permanent installations, permanent tanks, things that were up for 5, 10 years, biotopes, very specific biotopes to introduce like, different parts of the world and different types of fish to people that are just up and permanent, and then picking those biotopes and those permanent tanks based off of what really drives him, what he's really interested in. He says he should have gone 5 times bigger. He should have let him go for 5 years. He should have shared the journey over the 5 years rather than set up, tear down, set up, tear down, which was his initial path.
Yeah. I mean, that is absolutely it. Share the journey, see where it goes. Let's learn about the E170, not just what it takes to fill it out, but also prune it, man. Keep it back.
Yeah.
Make it look awesome for 5 years. Let's figure it all out.
If we constantly, preach to people or tell people like what. If the goal that we've done in a lot of these series, and the more information that we give out to the people, is ways to be successful or ways to put you on the path to a successful 5-10 year tank, and part and parcel of that is past the 5-year mark, up to the 10-year mark, past the 10-year mark. The E170. We're on 3 years with the E170. Okay, what's the next journey on that? Well, it isn't just tear it down because it's ran its course. It's like, so you have this tank that's fully grown. What's the next step? Now you got to maintain it, prune it. Maybe bring a coral out, swap it with another piece, revamp it. But what does it take to actually take that thing to 10 years?
The cool part too is, if we get enough of these things, is. We also get to give somebody else their dream job, which is
taking care of them all.
Come to BRS and take care of all of these awesome tanks.
Yeah.
Right? Like execute the plan that was developed.
Yeah. Raise your hand if your dream job to get paid a career a career salary is to come in here and just take care of tanks of all different types of biotopes.
Yeah. In fact, we're actually hiring for that right now because the guy that did it, Josh here, just got promoted.
I'm gonna take him. I'm taking him from my team.
Yep. So if you want to come to Minnesota and take care of the BRS tanks for a living, maybe do what we're talking about today, come join us. Let us know. And poor Ann's going to get 8 million emails. All right. So all I got out of that is should permanent installations, biotopes from all over the world showcase the entire hobby? He got started in it, but he got lost trying to please everyone.
Yep.
All I wrote down here was, oh man, wouldn't that be cool? If he had all these biotopes in, I literally have never had a freshwater tank. No. I want to see these things happen.
That might even be an idea for us to try too.
Yeah, really. I guess so. Okay. So in the end, he's closing his gallery because he should have gone 5 times bigger. Should have allowed the public to come in. Let's get all these fish as babies and then watch them grow out for 5 years. And the net end of the story is he rented out a old gym.
Yeah.
And he's going to put, I think, 20,000 gallons worth of aquariums into this place.
Things that he's happy.
Set them up, allow you to come there and tour them.
Yeah. That's awesome. So where does that leave us?
All right. So this leaves with me, dude. Okay. My take on this is, let's do it. Right
yes,
here.
let's do it for saltwater.
All right. This. I'm totally inspired by Joey. This happened a week ago.
Yeah.
I've actually been out of town for half of it, so it's got little thought. I want you guys to force us to do it. And so that's why I'm putting this in the universe, because it's so good. And so let's do a BRS gallery of some type, man. Let's do it. And let's do many tanks that we have never done before. And to be honest, man, I am not going to necessarily do the tanks that you guys want me to do.
Yeah.
I want to do the things that I'm excited about, because the things that I'm excited about and Randy's excited about, you'll see that passion in the result.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the thing that I naturally, like the clownfish, I naturally want to go read 60 pages of every last comment about how to do this. Because it's in my soul, I want to know it. And then when I learn about it, I want to share it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so let's go do it. Let's research the challenges together. Man, let's if we're gonna do a cuttlefish tank, man, let's do it live. I'll bring the things I learned, bring the things you learned, man. Community comes, shares with us, tells us which one of those are stupid, which ones are great. Man, let's build the plan together, build the awesome cuttlefish tank, and share it with the world.
How to do it.
How to do it, man.
And
So essentially, build a plan and work it,
Yeah.
right? Hopefully, the basis for the toll house recipe that we've been talking about recently, so others can easily follow it in the future too.
yeah, I mean, it's going to be, we're going to do this, the research. We'll talk about these different things. We'll come up with a plan. We'll implement the plan. Is there going to be failure along the way? 100%.
Hope so.
I hope so, because it's all of those failures from all of these other tanks that we've learned that, I mean, you and I do mistakes videos all the time. A bunch of that couldn't be possible unless we actually got our hands dirty and experienced it ourselves.
The reason that I'm so excited about this,
Is the failure?
well, it is a failure, but it's the fact that I know that all of the best content, all of the best lessons that we have ever learned here have been from setting up tanks.
That's true.
All the best things we've done. The BRS 160, what we learned from that, what we learned from the ULMs, what we learned from the WWC series, what we learned from the Clown Harem series, what we learned from setting up this Insta tank behind us. I mean, that thing went up inside of a single weekend,
Yeah.
right? How do you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So, like, what all these things that we've done, all the experiments in the BRS labs that we've done, all those
All
things.
those questions that we went out to test came from questions that we developed from doing all of this.
There's going to be more.
Yeah.
Every time we do one of these things, we're going to learn something totally new that we didn't know before.
Well,
That's my passion.
The other piece is, Joey wants to open this up to the public. He wants people to come in and be able to view. How can we do that same type of thing here and actually share? We can do it through like videos that we just create videos. We can also do it with live streams.
That's what I was thinking too, is that maybe we create a facility here that people can tour.
Yeah.
It's a little complex, takes a little bit more of a pitch from the team here, and we may get there.
Yeah.
But can we set up a live cam where on YouTube you can throw this thing on your TV in your living room, and you know what? For this weekend, you have the BRS 160 in your house, and you can share it too. You can share the cuttlefish tank that we set up. You can share the studio tank. This weekend, you now have the E170 in your home.
The clownfish harem.
Right? Yeah. And I was like, man, that is a really cool way to share that as well.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's like the Yule log fireplace that everybody puts on their TV during the holiday season because they don't have a fireplace. But I'm just going to put a 12-hour stream of a fireplace on my thing, and now it's part of the ambiance of my house. How about a reef tank? How about a tank?
And so hopefully what it really does is also inspires, your household. For me, I can't have all these tanks at home. And my kids actually like to fish the most,
Yeah.
And so if I can throw one of these really awesome tanks on my TV in my house, all I need to do is wait for the moment that my wife says, "Oh, isn't that cute fish?" Yeah, shouldn't we have it?
I know how to make it.
This happen.
I've been taught how to do it.
I don't know. All right, so these are some of the ideas. So if you guys have ideas, man, I may have missed some, but some of these things I've thought about for a long time, and I just want to share with you some ideas of tanks that we could set up.
Tank types. I know people have been sharing them like crazy in the hobby.
Have they?
Which ones should we do? Which one should we do?
Okay, share them all, man, because I'm going to go back through this and look for inspiration.
Brock has
Not going to try to please everybody.
Yeah.
But man, I enjoy inspiration just as much as anybody. So that is a cool idea. Let's do it.
Yes.
Right?
All right.
Okay, so I got some in here. Hopefully this will spur up stuff.
We came with a lot of ideas.
One of them, man, is Cuttlefish. From the first time I watched that National Geographic
changing
color is changing colors, and he goes up and he opens up his little his arms, and he like starts pulsing like Jimi Hendrix this fish, you know. It's like and then zaps him, you know. Like that thing, dude, is the coolest thing I've ever seen. You know?
How do I keep them?
I want that, man. And you know what? Like, yeah, they only live for a year in the wild, but I bet you it doesn't even live a year in the wild, and I'll get a whole year in my house. Yeah, because it's prey for something else. Maybe we can breed these things and hatch the eggs and make a you know, continual thing and really share that with the family.
Learning curve.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a Dave shared with me though. There's a Magna video that we shot from a lady. I don't know her name. Somebody will probably pop it up here.
Hawaii.
That breeds these things, and her like heart and soul is Cuttlefish.
What is her
She's
name?
my first phone call if she'll take my call.
Oh yeah, hopefully.
Well, maybe we'll get her live on here, man. But yes. You can tell I get excited about the Jimi Hendrix fish. All right. This is another one where I've just never understood why you don't see these all over the place.
Yeah.
A look down clam tank.
Oh man, that's cool.
Why are clams not more popular? Because they are the coolest looking things of all time. They filter your tank for you, and they're just awesome. Especially if, I don't know if anybody ever seen it, you should go Google it if you haven't, but the zero edge tanks.
Oh yeah, they're made in Illinois.
Yeah, and so the water like flows over the edge and then back up.
Good choice for that.
And so it's totally still on the top, and everything looks so awesome. Clams most so.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, a lot of I haven't seen a clam specific tank. It's mostly people putting clams in all their mixed for their other tank. So you don't, it's like you said earlier, you kind of lose the appreciation of the clam in the muddle of everything else. But there are some amazing, gorgeous clams out there that should just be showcased on their own.
I've been hooked on this thing lately. Okay,
well, you've been talking about a clam, like a clam refugium for a long time.
Yeah, I keep wanting to do that, but I've been hooked on this thing recently, which is Clam Mania's a live feed or live sales
auction or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, like first off, they're the coolest looking clams you've ever seen. Like I've never even seen anything that looks like many of these things. So for what it's worth, I met him. Like I had busted my knee, I fell down on a bike, and the guy came over and he was like, felt so bad for me.
I didn't know.
Yeah, that was him.
Yeah, he was doctoring you. Like,
I know, like
go run, grab you some ice, and sit you down, and make
the nicest guy I ever met in my whole life.
Super nice guy.
Yeah, and then he has the coolest clams of all time too. Yeah. And so I've been like hooked on it. I'm like almost gonna do it at any moment in time. But I'm watching. If you go to Clam Mania on his Instagram channel, you can follow it and buy some clams from him. They're really good deals. And like once you see one, you will say the same thing I just said, was why are these not more popular?
Yeah.
It's really strange. They're so cool. All right, so this one, controversial.
Okay, all right.
I mean, God, I got so many, it's gonna be trouble. Okay, controversial here. I told this more than one time. I've said I will never ever do signal gobies again.
Oh, yeah, because of the effort.
Just
the dedication.
Because I've killed them.
Yeah.
And then like I keep into it for a year or whatever. But like these are like, I mean, there's like $3 fish, but they're my favorite of all the fish. I don't know what it is about them, man. But like, you know what, it's like, it's one of those things that I learned first about it. Like they were the sand sifting fish and they're really cool and they hung out in little pairs. And then I read somewhere that the little spots that pop up on their side, when predators come, they turn sideways and pop those up.
Look like big eyes.
To look like a big-eyed crab or something. It scares away. And so then in my tank, I had this long-nosed hawkfish, you know, and he was like a natural-born goby killer. I don't know what it was, but he got older. You would go to him, grab the gobies, and bite him like a pit bull, and then shake them back and forth until they were dead. But not the signal gobies. The signal gobies would pop sideways, pop those things up, and they would freak the hawkfish out, and he'd run. I was like, wow. And so I think that was like one of the first things, because I mean, everybody's first experience with like pistol shrimp and gobies, and you start understanding how these organisms live together, and you're like, it draws you in. You know, it's like the clownfish thing. And when you start to understand how these organisms have a natural hierarchy, it draws you in. You know, I don't know. So I'd like to find a tank style and shape and size that allows me to keep signal gobies safe, healthy for as long as they are willing to live in my tank.
Yeah.
I would like to find the answer to that and do it well.
There's so many hurdles and challenges that we'll learn along the way, which is actually the exciting part. But eventually we get there.
I'd also like to show exactly how stupid difficult it is and monotonous, so nobody else ever does it. But if you do, man, if you share my same passion, you can know that you could do this too if you're willing to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd also like to redo the clown harem tank, but this time with a diverse set of anemones, right? And so, like,
Instead of RBTAs?
yeah, not just a bunch of, like, I mean, I bought the cheapest, because we bought, like, 60 of these RBTAs, and I bought the cheapest ones you could buy. Now let's go get, like, some
Colorado
really cool
sunbursts
ones.
and all kinds.
Yeah,
of
but,
really
like,
cool
also, like, I'm going to butcher it, but,
so like sea bay or
Yeah.
Heteractis crispins.
What is the natural, somebody out there will know, what is
like-
the natural anemone for, like, an Ocellaris clownfish?
Yeah.
Right?
Is it carpet? Is it
I
sea
think it's like
bays?
Glittery,
Is
maybe?
it?
I don't know. Yeah, yeah, share with us. Somebody out there knows. But I would like to redo that one in a different manner because I just really enjoyed that tank.
Yeah.
And I love to share with other people. I don't know. Seahorses.
Pipefish and
Right?
seahorses.
Pipefish and seahorses, right?
That one,
Not only
that
how
one
you-
comes up so many times that I've heard before, especially like a lot of significant others and stuff. I know my significant other back in the day, we went to a reef store, and the first thing she was drawn to was the seahorse tank.
I don't know what
and
it is.
And you see them hooking on to, the plants and the macroalgae, and you see them floating around. Some of the coolest videos I ever see is, when they spawn and when they have babies, and then just seas of like tiny little seahorses around, and watching them feed, and just they come up with their little pipe end and go, and they suck it up like a pipette. So cool.
Got to feed them. It's a little bit more difficult. You can't have a lot of other fish that will outcompete them for food. There's a bunch of things we'll learn, and we'll share it with you guys.
Awesome.
So also, you know what? Clownfish breeding. Let's set up a system that is designed for the sole purpose of learning how to capture the eggs, let them hatch, feed them, and breed them. Maybe send these fish out to the BRS community.
Yeah. Oh, and we have an expert here in house, Chad, who does this constantly. Like he's breeding everything. Clowns are like that for him.
Easy money.
Easy money.
Yeah, like
he's the one that actually harvested the eggs and raised them, and we had a whole bunch of the fangs and chomsalots fish.
MPS tank. This one I'm excited about too.
I thought this one was cool.
Right.
Non-photosynthetics.
I didn't get it when RT did it the first time.
He was working on one.
Yeah, he had one here, and I'm like, well, it's just so limited. I just I don't get it. Okay, so now though I get it, and so what the piece that kind of excites me about the MPS tank or non-photosynthetic tank. That means for all of you that don't know that this tank means all corals in it that don't get energy from light.
They just capture prey.
They have to capture prey or nutrients from the water to survive.
Yeah.
These are, historically...
Your dendros and all those types of things, yeah.
Historically difficult corals to take care of because you're going to pollute the tank trying to put enough food and knowing the right food and all of the other stuff. I think the evolution of amino acids and filtration
now
and
it makes it more feasible.
My guess is this is actually going to turn out to be really easy.
Yeah,
I'm going to eat those words. Sure, right? I don't know, man, but I feel like I'm going to learn more about how to feed the photosynthetic organisms by learning how to feed the ones first that can't photosynthesize their own energy.
I mean the line on gear possibilities and setups and things for that specific. I mean, we're talking like an automated frozen fish food or liquid fish food type feeder set to a timer. He
had a little fridge with a hole drilled in it next to the tank.
And I've seen so many DIY options of guys that had rotation things that would come down or their dosing pumps set to go forward and then reverse back into the fridge so that you don't spoil the food outside and.
So this actually got me, when I was starting to think about this, it started to get me to think about, are there photosynthetic corals that actually would do really well in this MPS tank without light? And it will probably have some light. But the reason I say that is because RT's tank was filled with Aptasia.
Yeah.
right? And like Aptasia is a photosynthetic.
Are they photosynthetic?
Yeah, and so like I believe they are. I'm like, I guess I don't know.
Yeah, because I've seen them growing in sumps where there's never any light.
Okay, I believe Aptasia are a photosynthetic organism that also obviously can capture its own prey and suck up nutrients in the water. Somebody should actually chime in. Maybe I'm totally wrong. I don't know. But I've seen the same thing. You've seen Aptasia live in all kinds of areas where nothing should be living that relies on
thriving
light.
almost.
Yeah. Artesi's tank was one of them. All right. So another one. Nano Tanks. Man, has that been a call? I gotta be honest, dude. Nano Tank doesn't really call to me that much. It gets filled out too quickly. But what if we did something really cool, like Zoa Gardens or something, and it was very specific to the size and shape of the tank?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's Pico Tanks.
That one excites me.
Okay, we actually had Nick here. Used to have a
GoPro case.
It has like the 4-inch cube that he put bulkheads like from the Murloc bulkheads in it.
Yep.
And then he had to go down like a 5-gallon bucket or something.
Yeah, so it was like 5.3 gallons of water completely. Maybe not even 0.3 is a stretch. This thing was tiny.
The tank itself was like 2 cups of water, but it was a full-on reef tank.
Yeah,
it was very cool.
Style. Oh, you've seen them in like bowls and jars and things like that. There's a little cookie jar full of.
That is another one. Somebody's gonna have to chime in with what the name of this is called.
Yeah.
But we were talking about it earlier. The sealed jar tank, right? So there's some kind of tank type out there that I've stumbled across, but I haven't actually tried myself. And it's like a sealed jar, and essentially the jar, creates its own little life cycle or biotope inside of it, and stuff dies, but it feeds the next thing, and it just kind of
perpetual almost.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody named the name of it so other people can go look at it. But like a really cool idea. I don't know. I feel like you learn from it. There's another thing here that really, I don't know what it is, and I think probably I can't be the only one here. And I don't know how you can create a tank around this specific thing, but schooling fish. Watching fish interact with each other that way.
In a group? Oh, man.
Like huge
That's a good one.
Swarms of anthias. Actually, one of the coolest things that I've seen is I had a friend who had a bunch of big acros, and he had the chromis that lived in it, right? And so when you get like 30 chromis and they live in your big giant acro, like they'll just shoot all in it at once. They'll come out, man, and like that. I don't know. I mean, you can probably tell at this point, but like more than just looking at the thing, I like watching the behavior and understanding it. That's the thing that really gets me, right? So
schooling, shoaling fish. I think I attempted that in my own tanks with blue-eyed cardinals or threadfins. They're known by 4 or 5 of them. Constantly just watching them all hang out together. And one of the, I don't know if we have the room or the space, but look downs, big giant silver dinner plate type fish, and they school, and that would take a massive tank, but
all you gotta do is ask. That'd be cool. And the same thing for me is like, what if it was just a big, huge tank filled with the Tang gang, a real Tang gang, right?
Oh, yeah.
Every Tang known to man, And like,
is it possible?
Tang police, it can be done.
Yeah.
And same thing with like angels, man. Like I've started to get a thing for angels, and that's part of what's driving my desire for a fish-only tank.
Yeah.
Is all of these fish, man, I just like can't have, and I don't know. I'm starting to get this like pull for it.
Yeah.
Specifically, angelfish are just beautiful. So there's that. An aggressive tank. So we're talking like eels and lionfish.
What was that? Frogfish and things like that.
Oh yeah, that's different. Those are a different, smaller end of it.
You could do a smaller tank with frogfish, the angler type deal.
Was it RT that had the angler?
That, he did, and we've had several frogfish around here that eat the coals from the breeding that happens here.
Those are just really, really neat, fish, especially. I mean, the angler has a little bait, and pulls them in.
There's a lot of people that I can't believe like they eat live fish. That's their nature. That's what they do. But let's showcase it. Like that is something cool to look at.
I got
It's a
news
little-
for you. Like the frozen squid pouch you had has a squid in it. I don't value the squid's life any different
Because he's
than the
already dead and
clownfish.
frozen?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it is nature, man. I eat cow. You know, I don't know. You know, it's, but I like the idea of the culls. So
Yeah.
from the clownfish, these are fish that can't really be sold, and so I don't know. They go to feed the next fish. Very cool.
I mean, sharks is kind of in there too.
I guess.
Yeah.
You know what? Stop me if you're wrong.
Are you against like a shark's?
I
type
don't.
thing?
Somebody. I guess I am.
Yeah.
I don't have any good reason as to why. It just seems like an animal that doesn't belong in my house.
I can agree with that. Well, and you know, like I said at the top of this, those ideas will come, but it's picking what
Maybe, man.
what you like. What
Yeah,
you like.
I don't know. Like, I'm curious if you guys think sharks belong in people's house.
I don't have a personal desire to keep sharks.
No.
There's something about that animal that I don't feel I want to keep.
Yeah, I don't know.
Personal,
man. I
personal
don't know.
belief.
I just don't know. Like,
Stingrays are kind of the same thing. I don't feel like I want them.
I feel like so. My wife loves birds, right?
Yeah.
I can't have birds in my house. I don't like. They're too loud and stinky. But you know what, man? When I look at a bird, all I think of is this animal needs to be free, right?
They're designed to fly in open, unfettered places. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just too hard for me. So shark kind of falls in the same category for me, interestingly enough. I'd be curious to hear you guys feel the same thing. This is actually a really cool one too. Of course, Elliot has now got me on this one. Cold water fish.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We've seen. There's been a few calls for cold water systems.
Yeah, so cold water fish, a lot of the cold water fish, they might come from just a colder area, but a lot of them also come from really deep, like 500 some feet down, and like have to like special rebreathers and stuff to go down there.
Are they are they normally a vibrant colored
often
fish?
they're really pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so actually, it was really interesting because every culture has like a different thing. And so Elliot was telling me about these fish from Japan. It wasn't the cherryanthia, it was something else. I forget what it was. But, I was like, oh, so they're diving down there to get these 500. No, he's like, no, they're fishing for them. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
500 feet, man? The little fish like this? He's like, yeah, it's a major hobby in Japan to go deep water fishing with the sole function
Getting this little
of
tiny
making
guy.
sure that you get it up alive.
Oh wow!
Right?
Which takes a lot of time to slowly.
Slowly, 500 feet.
I've caught deep water fish, and I see what their eyes and bladders do when they come up from the depths.
Yeah. So I'm like, and you know what's cool about these fish is like, they're not like, often like people are after rare fish, and they are rare in the hobby. These fish are not rare 500 feet down.
Right.
They're all over the place. It's just getting them safely up, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, what a crazy hobby. I would have never thought that there would be a hobby to find a way to rig down 500 feet. How would you even know if that little fish, man, like 500 feet
It's not like
was
there's
on
a
your
bite
line?
or anything if it's this big. Like.
Yeah, I don't know. What a crazy thing. I would love to learn more about it.
That's cool. Even not even cold water just for those species of fish, but cold water, anemones and cold water, corals if they're down there. All of those types of organisms.
There absolutely are cold water corals.
Yeah.
So let's do one.
And
Let's do a whole tank dedicated to cold water coral.
Well, that even speaks to, we've done the SPS dominated system. What about an SPS deep water acro system where it's all, and that would make me passionate about like Suharsonis and Lucanis and these different soft skins type corals.
Get into like that, it's not just acro. It's
biotopes.
This one.
Yeah.
This come from these areas, this country.
The Fiji
like only thing
tank.
that's going in here is Fiji acros.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Ooh,
I don't. The Australian tank, right? The
For sure.
Bali tank, man. Oh, I'm getting into this for the moment.
Could you imagine our gallery? How many tanks we're going to have in this thing?
Okay, the only thing that will stop us is if you stop watching. I think. I don't know, because why not do this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the list is long, guys.
I know. I still got more here, man. Okay, so one of the things I'd like to set up too is a mangrove refugium tank, but not like the one that you had on your desk.
Yeah.
Right. It's not actually a refugium tank per se.
It's just a mangrove display tank.
Yeah, it's just sand and mangroves and like all kinds of cardinals and stuff that live within it. You can kind of see one like right here. There's no cardinals
That's
it yet.
That's
but-
kind of always been that's been a dream of mine, and that's kind of what I was going for with that big mangrove in the center is 4 years old, and I've been growing it ever since it was a seedling. But I see Julian's mangroves, and you get the mangroves to the point where, you know, I don't know how many years it takes. They grow faster in fresh water, and then you convert them over to salt water. But that whole root system that's you know a couple inches high off the sand, so that means there's all kinds of places to go in and out of, and then filling it with fish that naturally like live in that environment and just watch them through the side. That is a tank I've been dreaming about for years. Years.
Yeah, I'm totally in. Seeing it on your desk makes me want to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, man.
Okay. So display refugiums. It's the clam refugium, the xenio refugium.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even just a macroalgae tank, you have all of those octodes and blue algae and, you know, flame algae. There's so many types of macroalgae out there. To see them all in their on display, and that's all that's in that tank. I've tried that before on my own also.
In the spirit of Toll House cookie recipes, for those of you who didn't catch up on that, like if you make that cookies in the back of the Toll House chips, it will always
Every
turn
time.
out. Follow this and you will achieve that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We want to help create as many of those as possible. So let's do a super awesome mixed tank, a super awesome LPS tank, SPS, softy tank, man. Let's make that collection of euphilia. Let's do it to the best of our ability, because I can get excited and take great pride of doing anything that we do to the best of our human possibility.
Oh, what would excite me the most about going back and revisiting like the same type of tanks that we've done before, LPS, softies, and SPS and mixed, is when we develop that Toll House recipe that I know what we're telling you guys and sharing you guys, you will have success with this. That's the ultimate like pat on my back and get all the chills and happies from.
Another one I thought about was I was kind of inspired by is that natural habitat for wrasses.
Oh, you're talking about the little rock piles?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of that one too.
Okay, so that video, I wish it was up. Maybe somebody could link to it or something. I don't know. If Elliot's watching by chance, he should share it. But he showed me this video of where all the wrasses in their natural habitat are.
Nothing but open water and little piles of rock.
It's just like a field of rubble, and they just dart in and out of it. What if you had like a
tank that's just like
big, long, wide tank that was only rubble, and wrasses jumping in and out of it?
That's awesome.
We have to figure out a way to keep it clean and stuff, but like natural habitat gets me excited.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that would be really fun.
That is awesome.
Especially if you could get some like rare and cool, like some of the ones that are actually in that video would be awesome.
Yep.
This one, I don't know. This is kind of a flyer, man, but like an octopus tank.
Yeah, I know. That one's kind of like poke the bear controversial one too.
Yeah.
But the coolest videos you run into on social media and what have you is the way octopus can fit themselves through different things. I'd almost like to just set up a tank that these things are living in, and build in types of things where like puzzles or escape hatches and all this, and just watch them kind of feed their way.
Have you ever seen 00 Squirrel on YouTube?
No.
Okay, so like 00 Squirrel, people set up like a bird feeder, and then like this an amazing elaborate thing that the squirrel has to jump through the whole yard.
I have seen that.
It's all to like Mission Impossible music.
If they miss or something, they get catapulted.
You could totally do this with octopus. Okay, so I haven't ever really thought about the octopus in great detail. One of the things I think their lifespan's like a year in many cases, and so that's kind of why they're frowned upon. But I don't know if its lifespan's like a year in the wild, like why can't it be a year in my house too? I don't have to feel bad if it dies. I actually gave it a good home and didn't have to deal with its own predators. Probably live longer.
And call it a success if it lives longer.
Yeah, let's show you how to do it proper. And like don't do it. It'll be how do you do it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Man, that's cool.
Mantis shrimp tank.
That one just popped up here too.
Oh, did it?
There. Just Smart says mantis shrimp.
Yeah, one of those big like peacock ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a ton of those little guys.
No, the vibrant rainbow color one.
Yeah, those guys are smart too, man. So big peacock mantis shrimp tank.
Acrylic tank so they don't bust it.
Oh yeah, that may be. Yeah.
That was one that, thinking of that mantis shrimp one, and this is one I've talked about in our live rock episodes and things. I'd be excited about a pest or quote unquote pest tank. I would want all of the nasty uglies that come on all that live rock just to keep it and see what's there and try to keep it alive.
Aptasia tank.
I've had one.
All Aptasia all day.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, in that spirit, actually I wrote down this as display xenia tank. Every inch of the rock covered in xenia.
Yeah.
Right?
It's its own filter. It's its own filtration.
Oh, for sure. It will be like, I don't know. I've never seen a display xenia tank where you just embrace xenia in its entirety and just said, man, my whole tank is going to pulse.
The closest thing I've seen to that was my buddy Ty, my mentor Ty that got me in the hobby. And one of his sump chambers for one of his tanks, he put xenia in there and just let it go, because what he would do is he'd just kind of let it grow out and carve it and frag it, and then you'd get rid of it. But always a constant supply. When you look in there, you could barely see because all the walls were covered. But if you look over the top, it's nothing but this.
Xenia is one of those corals that I suspect would also live in an NPS tank. If you fed it
if you
right.
have a constant feed.
Yeah, interesting. What about a mushroom-only tank, man? Just like Rickordia and the coolest mushrooms from all over the world.
Jawbreakers and bounces. And
also, how do you not let it get out of control?
Yeah.
I mean, the 5-year portion.
Yeah.
How do I really collect and enjoy without one of them just taking over the whole thing, right?
What about anemones only, too? Like, there's upside down anemones, or there's upside down jellyfish, but
rock anemone tank.
Yeah.
I don't know, how did I miss this?
I don't know. But there's so many gorgeous rock flower anemones that why not have an anemone-only tank? Big, giant. Could you imagine how big, giant carpets could get in their own environment, just themselves? I used to feed my sea bay that was the size of a soccer ball, silver sides, because he would take them.
Now, I don't know if this fits or not, but I gotta be honest, I wrote this down, and now I'm wondering whether or not I'll do it. Because I know a lot of people who want to see it.
Yeah.
And this kind of deviates from the whole passion thing, but sometimes you guys are important too. Okay, so Aqua Forest tank, KZ tank, Triton tank, Red Sea tank, and so on. Okay, but pure play. Not Toll House cookie way. I read the damn instructions and I followed them.
The KZ has very specific ways of doing their tanks.
Do it this way.
Doing the part that we skipped on the 160 to make the pastel looking coral colors. Actually implementing that as part of it.
What is that called? The Zeospur?
Zeospur.
Yeah, it really brightens them up. So, one of my biggest annoyances with our hobby and even my own behavior is that we treat this so much like choose your own adventure. And I understand, once you've been a chef for 10 years, you can explore turmeric however way you want. You can throw cinnamon in whatever the hell you want because you already know the flavor profile, what's going to happen. Yeah. That makes a ton of sense in reefing too. You can explore to your desire, right? But not the first time.
No.
But it's true, man.
No,
we just kind of piece together whoever we want to listen to and hope that the cookie turns out, and it often doesn't. Big surprise.
Yeah, it really makes sense when you kind of think about those that have gone before us and done these types of specific tanks. Was that their first tank they've ever done? No. No. Everybody kind of starts on that same path in this hobby. But to help somebody be successful, if what piqued my interest in this hobby was seeing a clownfish harem tank, and I want that, but there's nothing out there on how to do it, and I kind of have to go through the path of kind of a reef and a coral tank, understand about water chemistry and what I need, and then work my way into a clownfish harem tank. sometimes I want to make, you know, ginger snaps instead of Toll House cookies. And if I had a ginger snap recipe, you've never made a Toll House cookie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're trying to apply that, like the LPS message to the clown message, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Like, actually, no, I like it more that I say it out loud. And, like, let's actually follow these things to the T. No garbage, no, you know what, like we put a refugium in the KZ Zeovit method, which it says you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
But we did it anyway because we thought we knew better. I don't know, the tank turned out pretty good. But
Yeah.
let's actually find out what happens if you follow these things to the T. Like, let's do the Triton method and, like, you know, have somebody legitimately send in the test every month and play Mad Scientist.
Yeah.
You know, what is the result? And, like, you know what we could do is, too, is, like, you know, we got enough coral partners out there that, like, we could send them up almost identical. And we could build almost the identical aquascape.
Yeah.
Put the same, like, pumps and stuff in it for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
And
Same
the same coral.
same
I need 4 of
location.
each, you know, or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, wow.
I know this is starting to build for me again. All right. So what does this look like now? We went through them, and hopefully we're going to go through and find a bunch of other ones, right? Okay. So here's the deal. Setting up all those tanks is a $500,000 project.
Oh.
Like, I'd have to go to, I'd just get fired because I can't do that. And so what I can do, though, is work within our existing budget. Probably go over it, but nobody will ask.
Yeah.
And let's just go set one up. Let's start the path. Let's get one foot in front of the other one, and like not 52 weeks of reefing style like you watch this thing. Let's just do it clownfish style, which is like 5 episodes. Get the thing up. Let's explore it and enjoy it. Keep it up from that point on, and then do the next one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. If you guys actually find it interesting, as much as I find it interesting, and watch it, I can go and just keep telling the people,
hey,
we're going to keep doing another one.
We need another one.
And you know what? I need another guy to actually take care of these things.
Yeah.
And there'll be a whole team of people
By the
take care
time
of
that we get to 20 plus tanks.
I mean, we do this, dude. We got a zoo here.
We need like 4 or 5 people to take care of them all.
Well, and then it's like, all right, well, okay, we got so much. It's time to bring it off site so that people can actually come and visit them too.
Right.
Like come to Minnesota. I don't know if Minnesota is like a big vacation destination.
It's got a pretty good airport with quick direct flights from all
got
over
a big
the
mall.
place.
Yeah,
there's a big
go see
giant
the
mall.
Yeah, you know, I was actually thinking is like, could you partner with the aquarium at the mall, right? And like, hey, give us some space, we'll keep building stuff, and then people can come see them when they're at the mall.
Oh wow!
I don't know. I'm thinking big here. I'm trying anyway. So this is what it looks like.
Somebody says $500,000 budget seems a little low.
Honestly, dude, it might be,
Probably
man.
is.
This is really a lot of stuff. It's really expensive.
Yeah.
And so, but let's do one take at a time. Let's enjoy the journey. Let's find the passion. Let's explore it with you guys in real time. Let's find out everything we need to know about the Cuttlefish tank. Let's maybe maybe it looks something like, let's have, we'll do the research, have that live. You guys can engage with us, tell us what you know, enjoy the journey. And then we'll start to set it up. Right?
Yeah.
And we'll just kind of follow along.
We have to start with something interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
Something that not your LPS, SPS that we've always done.
We've been there, done that.
Done that.
That will happen too. But so one take at a time. And it looks like the deal. You're getting ready to set up.
Ready.
Okay, and we'll get a few under our belt, man. We'll just shoot for the moon. So here's the deal. You guys have to tell us that this is something you want to see because it's a big move for us. You know, I assume that everybody would like to see all these tanks go up.
I want to see it.
I assume
If you and I get excited about it, I'm sure 90%
I want to put
of
it
you
on my
are
own
with us.
TV at home, man. And so you guys let us know. And I don't know, we're going to start working on it. Now, I got to tell you, I did this way too premature because the idea came out a week ago. So give us a little runway here to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about it if you can't tell. Let's go do it.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, so we got a deal coming up. If you are subscribed to BRS, you probably just showed up the deal as you push the button.
Just did now.
Otherwise, man, this one's actually pretty good, especially if you're thinking about setting up a tank. This is the right option at the right time.
Yes.
Yeah, so go check it out. If you need to, you can go check us out on the community tab of our channel while you subscribe because you're going to want to see all the deals in the future. Let us know if you want to see 40 different biotypes of... And hey, Thank you, Joey, for the inspiration.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Joey.
I wish you all the best of luck and build out this awesome facility
When
in
he
Nova
builds
Scotia.
that things out, we should head over there.
We should
look
go.
at it.
You know what? Actually, that's the same city that Thomas lives in.
That's right.
Thomas,
you're gonna go over there?
Mission for Thomas.
And watch it.
All right, if you
Look
want
at
to see
it.
Thomas go film it, go let us know too. We'll see that. See you next week.
All right, guys.